Come on in, everybody. Come on in and jump in and keep me company while I am driving. Thank you all for the last time I did my car talk video. Y'all was worried about my safety. I ain't looking at this camera, y'all. I'm looking directly at the road, and I'm just talking to y'all as if I was talking to my girlfriends on the phone while I'm driving. But anyway, I wanted to come in here and talk to y'all this morning again because I finally got through listening to reading all the comments down in the chat on my last video from the Ready to Love. And it was something that really struck me, was that a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people were still disappointed in the crop of the men for the ladies. And I was surprised at that because I actually was pleased with the crop of the men. Does that mean that I think all these men are good men, like I said, marriage material, whatever else? No, that doesn't mean that, especially the two I think that are the worst ones of all. We're going to get into that. But I still thought it was a good crop of men. And I was a little bit confused on, like, maybe how I look at things versus how other people look at things. And I just thought it would make for like an interesting conversation about, because what I was thinking about was, listen, these men to me represented a slice of what the dating pool looks like out there. To me, I feel like it did, especially if you're over 35. Maybe if you're under 35, it may not represent it because a lot of these men are over 35. But if you're over 35 years old, I feel like this crop of people represented kind of what you see out in the dating world. Even in terms of looks. I mean, when I'm just running around going to the grocery store and I see men, you don't run around seeing a bunch of fine men all the time. It's almost as if everyone expected like the crop of men to be filled with a bunch of good looking men. You know what I mean? And maybe that's because we have some really good looking women on the show this year. I think, there's some women like Laylen, Maya, Vanessa, even the young lady from the first episode, Mika or something. There's a lot of women who, if they're just walking out and about in the street, those women will be considered like, really good looking women, not an average looking woman. So maybe women were thinking, hey, we've got so many women who are above average in looks, so we should be having a whole lot of men who are above average in looks. And I actually don't agree with that because for the most part, when I'm out and about, I tend to find more women who have done a lot more to enhance their beauty and to keep up their beauty than I have with men, especially when you start to get over 35. Y'all wait till y'all go to your 20-year high school reunion. When you go to your 20-year high school reunion and now everybody's like 37, 38, you're going to see it. You're going to see that the women kept themselves up way more than the men on average. Now, is that the case with everyone? No. But on average, when you go to your high school reunion after 20 years, 25 years, most women have kept themselves up more than men. And I think that's because women, we just invest so much more in our beauty than men do. We do. We invest way more in our beauty in terms of makeup, hair, nails. We doing beauty treatments every single night to try to keep the wrinkles away. Folks got Botox, Restylane. We got a whole lot of things that we doing. We got Spanx. We got a lot of things we do to ourselves to keep ourselves preserved compared to, say, like men who are over 35. So I don't really expect there to be a room full of fine men. I just don't. I just think on average, typically women just hold themselves together better than a lot of men do. I know a lot of people say, well, women let themselves go after they have children. Yes, some women do, but there's a lot of women who don't. There's a lot of women who do stay, in good shape. And even if we've gained weight, I mean, I'm not the same weight I was out of high school, but sometimes when you do get a little the extra weight, it fills in nicely for some women. Some women, they didn't have no hips in high school, and sure, maybe they are 15 pounds, 20 pounds heavier, but maybe it filled in nicely and hit them right where they wanted to hit them. Let me say this. But one of the other things I was starting to get from the comments, y'all, was that what do we, even women nowadays, single women, look at as a good crop of men? Because I was like, if you go out to any type of event or a club, if there are 100 men there, I mean, half their men might be married. Half their men may not even be looking for a relationship. So yeah, you could have more men in a group. You could even have more good-looking men. But what percent of those men are like your target rich audience? Because that's how I kind of tell women that once you are ready to settle down and get married, it needs to not be about quantity. It needs to be about quality. I'd much prefer a room with only 10 men in it, but all 10 of those men are marriage minded, versus a room of 100 men and only 5 of those men are marriage minded or even serious about trying to be in a relationship. So it's really not about the quantity of men. To me, it's about the quality of men, which kind of gets me to my point when I was reading like a lot of the comments in the section, which was, are we just judging men off of what they do for a living, where they work, what do they like to do for fun? Because honestly, y'all, I'm going to be real honest. To me, that's like a secondary question if I'm out here single in the single world. If I'm out here single and I'm ready to get married, my first question for any man would be to find out if he's on the road I'm on. I know y'all, some of y'all watched my last video talking about get off the wrong road. And when I say, is he on the wrong road or a different road? Because it may not be a wrong road. It's just not the road I'm on. Is he marriage minded? Is he marriage minded? Because if he's not marriage minded and you are, like I said, I'm only talking to women who want to get married. If you just want situationships, you just want a companion in life, you just want to date, then this conversation is really not for you. It's more about women who want to get married. Because to me, the first question, if you really want to get married and you're meeting men, shouldn't be how they look, what salary they make, anything. Doesn't mean you're not going to get to that, but it's not the first thing you want to know. The first thing you want to know is, are they marriage minded, if that's what you are? Because if they're not marriage minded, there's really no need to even evaluate them on their looks or their job or any other potential. Because otherwise, you're going to end up with a situation like Zadia. That was the problem with Zadia. Zadia was trying to get a man to change the road he was on. He was on a road and he says, I'm on this road and I'm going to be on this road for at least another 2 years. So unless you're willing to get on my road, then we're not going to work. And what Zadia saw in Cam was, she saw a man that looked good. She saw a man that maybe had other characteristics that she liked, but he wasn't on the road that she was on. His road wasn't going to be leading to marriage for 2 years, and his road was in New Orleans, and her road was in DC. So it doesn't matter how good looking he is. It doesn't matter how good in bed he is. It doesn't matter what his salary is, because if he's not going where you want to go, or you're not going where he's going, it doesn't matter. That's how you end up wasting your time with men, because people go and look for men who look like they want to look, who, make the money they want to make, but then they find out that man ain't even going to where they want to go to. So what difference does it make? So then a woman sits around spending time trying to get that man to get onto her road, and it don't happen. So then you come out and you pissed and you mad because you feel like you wasted time on a wrong road with a man who wasn't on your road, but you really could have figured that out earlier on, but you was asking the wrong questions. You were too busy asking questions about what he likes to do for fun and how he looks and what's his salary and all these other kind of things. And the most important question is he marriage minded? Is he The question would be, hey, you know what? If you found the woman that that you loved and the love of your life, are you at a place in your life where you would want to marry that woman? Right? If you found the right woman, are you at a place? Where are you in your journey? We all know that we are all at different parts of our journey. Some people are just getting out of relationships, so they need a little time. They need more healing. Some people, they're just getting back into the dating scene, so they still want a little more time. Some people are ready to get married. There's so many stages of these journeys that you do have to get clarification on where these people are in their journey, because to me that is the most important question. And are these men good men? So when I say are they good men, I don't mean like are they good people. I'm not judging them on that. I'm judging them on, are they good men for any of these women, if these women want to be marriage minded. And the two men that I would say that are not, just based on their conversation, is going to be Lamar and LaRon. Now I'm going to eliminate Lamar because Lamar is sitting over here talking about threesomes. He not ready for no marriage relationship. Maybe for 1% of the population, then go on with that. Go on with that. Go find your 1% woman who wants to be in a marriage with a bunch of threesomes and all the stuff he was talking about. So to me, I really wouldn't need to have any more conversation with Lamar, because I would know already that he's really not on the road that I'm on. Now that might be a road for a woman looking for some fun or a situationship, then go ahead and do it. But he's not on the, to me, he's not marriage minded. The second person that I would eliminate, eliminate LaRon. LaRon is a decent looking man. He seems fun. He seems exciting. But the part that made me eliminate LaRon, when LaRon said, I'm looking for a woman to make me want to come out the club. Nah, that means you want me to convince you to change the road you're on. No, if the road you're on is wanting to be up in the club from Wednesday through Sunday, then stay on that damn road. I'm not here to convince you to get off the road. I want a man who already wants to get off that road, and he's just finding a woman that he wants, not a woman to convince him. That tells me that LaRon is not marriage minded. He is for a good time. He's for a situationship. He's for, like he said, going out and drinking and getting drunk and having a good time with. That's all he's good for. He's not good for no woman who wants to be marriage minded, who wants to settle down, and who wants to get married. Not at all. So those would be the kind of questions that I would be asking men straight up, not about judging them on what they look like. I'm so happy we don't have no personal trainers this year. Every year we get a bunch of personal trainers, men with a whole lot of nice bodies, but with no substance, not on no road to be married or nothing. I'm so glad we don't have a bunch of personal trainers on this season, y'all. Y'all just do not know. But I wanted to know, shoot, I've been talking so much. Let me drink me some coffee real quick. What I want to know is, when you guys enter a room, ladies, when you enter a room and you sizing up men in the room on whether or not they're marriage minded. Like I said, I'm only talking to women who are marriage minded. Where do you start? Where do you start with your questions? Do you start with, what do you do for a living and all this other kind of stuff? Or do you start with trying to learn about what road they're on and what part of their journey are they on in their life at this moment in time? Because to me personally, that's like the most important question. Because if you're not on the road to marriage and I want to get married, then it's like, what's the point? I don't care how good you look. What's the point? All you're going to do is distract me. If you are good looking and you're not on the road I want to be on, then all you are is a distraction from me getting to where I want to get to. So it would be a no for me. It would be a no for me. And one thing I do know is that, in my opinion, men are at different points in their lives, and women do have to get very good at deciphering where men are and whether or not those men are going in the direction they want to go to. So I want to talk about this season. There was a lot of men on here who either were married. There were a lot of women who were married and who divorced. And what do y'all think about, what's easier for a man to be getting on the marriage road? Is it easier for a man who's single to be on the marriage road, or a man who has already been married willing to get on the marriage road? I think there's pros and cons to both, to be honest with you. Like I said, especially if you are over 35 and you're meeting a man. Most men, I think, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, most men tend to get married sometime in their 30s, between 30 and 40 years old. A lot of men get married around that time. So when you start meeting men who are over 40 and never have gotten married, you've got to ask more questions, ladies. You've got to ask more questions, and you just can't accept their answer that, oh, I just haven't found the right woman. No, you need to ask more questions on what has held that man up. And people will say, well, what, isn't that the case with women over 40? No, it's not the same, because women can propose to themselves. Women don't choose, women cannot propose. Women can accept a proposal, but women can't initiate a proposal for the most part. I mean, I know they can, but for the most part, which tells me that men have more possibilities, rights, authority, whatever you want to call it. They have more of an opportunity to enter into marriage than women do, because they have more opportunity to propose. Sure, they may get turned down. Sure, they need a woman that will say yes, but they still have more opportunity to propose. Women don't really have the opportunity to propose. So there could be women who have never had a proposal who want to get married. But a man who wants to get married, if he's never even proposed to a woman, you've got to question that man. You do. I think that, men who are over 40, who've never been married, and let's say they don't want any kids, those men are hard to get married. It's hard to get them to marry. I'm going to say it again. Men over 40 don't have any kids, don't want any kids. They're hard to get married, because a big incentive for most men to get married is not to be just sitting up underneath a woman. It's not. It is to have children and to have a family. That's what most men want to marry for. To have kids, to have a wife, to have a nucleus family. So if you come up against a man who doesn't want any children, he's over 40, it may be harder to get him to want to get married, because also once he gets over 40, he might have made a little money. And now what he's afraid of is he's afraid of having a failed marriage, and he's afraid of a woman coming and taking his money. That even makes it harder for him to get married. So now his criteria for marriage is even higher. He's a man with no kids, never married, doesn't want any kids. He's got money. It's hard. It's hard. So when you're talking about what type of men you want to even engage in, you do have to look at what men are more likely to want to be getting married, if that's what you want to do. And I know a lot of women want men with no kids, but men with no kids, who don't want kids, and who are over 40 and never been married, you need to look at them more carefully. You really, really do. But if there's a man who is, let's say he's never been married, and he's over 40 and he wants kids, then that's a good man. That's a good right man, because he wants children. He's over 40, he's never been married, and he wants kids. Or even a man who was married and divorced but still wants kids. Like I said, wanting kids is a big motivator for marriage for men. It's a big motivator. You'll find more women who don't want kids but still want marriage. There are a lot of women who don't want kids but still want marriage. But you find less men who don't want kids but still want marriage. Because women want relationships, they want companionships, and so they can still have that without children. But a lot of men, kids are the primary motivator in a large degree to them wanting to get married. And then if you find a divorced man, let me tell you, if you find a divorced man didn't have kids with that woman and still wants kids, oh yeah, he's primed and ready, ladies. He is primed and ready. A divorced man that didn't have kids with his ex-wife but still want kids, he's primed and ready. First of all, what you know about him is he's already pulled the trigger. He knows how to get up to the altar. He knows how to do it. He knows how to propose. Now, he may not have chosen the right woman. It may not have worked out for any particular reason. But let me tell you, a man that is divorced, that didn't have any kids, and wants kids, oh, he's primed and ready. I would go for that man over a single man in a heartbeat. I sure would. Put them side by side, and put them side by side. A man over 40, one never married, with no kids but wants to get married, and a single man over 40 with no kids and wants to get married. I'm gonna look at the divorced man. I'm gonna sit and figure out why he got divorced and what went wrong. But I think I might go with the divorced man, unless that single man can convince me, really convince me on some really good reason why he never got married and he's over 40. Nah, I would need some really good convincing over that. I would think there's some other reasons that has held him back. And I will be looking at the situation where if no other woman could convince you, why would I come along and think that I'm supposed to be this woman that's all of a sudden going to convince you? I don't know. That's just my opinion. Dang, what's going on up here? Is there like an accident or something? Another man that I think is primed and ready is a divorced man that has a child but wants to remarry. Kind of like that guy this year named Jonathan. Jonathan's divorced. He was married 2.5 years. He has a daughter. And he told us that, remember that game they were playing? And he said that one of the, he spent a lot of time trying to please his wife. That's what he said. He spent a lot of time trying to please his wife. Jonathan, for me, he would deserve additional conversation because he's a divorced man. He does have a child, and he was married 2.5 years, and they got divorced. I would want to learn more about the circumstances surrounding the divorce. I would want to learn more about the road he's on, because Jonathan at first glance strikes me as a person who wants a family, a nucleus family. And so I could see him out here looking for a wife to try again to create the family that he once wanted. He kind of reminds me of, do y'all remember Chris from last year? Chris Najee. He had a daughter too. No, he wasn't married though, huh? Chris didn't get married. I don't know if I could use Chris. Was Chris over 40, never married, or was he under 40 and never married? I don't know. Maybe I didn't use Chris yet. Let me see. But Jonathan, to me, I'm telling you, I would give him a second look, because it sounds like he does want a family. He does want to get remarried. It sounds like he wants more children than just one child, right? And so there is going to be an incentive for him to get married. And the fact that he's already been married, I'm quite sure he's not going to want another divorce and another marriage or baby with a woman where they're not living in the same household. So Jonathan, to me, I'm telling y'all, he would get another look. He would get another look from me. Now, the Chas guy, 45, never been married, no kids. He worries me. He does worry me a bit because he's over 45. He's never been married. I know he told us that he had that child and the baby died. And I think that added a lot of trauma in his life. But that's why I kind of think he kind of matches up well with Vanessa. I think they kind of match up well. I even think they kind of have similar personality types. So I am interested in seeing how they go further. But Vanessa, she already has 2 kids. So I'm not sure if she wants additional kids. And if she does have additional kids and he does want children, he may be fine with just having one child, and maybe she's willing to have one additional child. But what is y'all's hierarchy? When you guys be going out, single ladies, when you go out and you are vetting these men, are you first looking at looks, what they do for a job, how much money they make? Or do you first look at, are they on the road you're on? Which one do you go for first? And if you do look at, are they on the road that you're on, do you look at some of the things that I was just talking about, like, you know, divorced versus single, over 40 versus under 40, no kids versus kids? Do y'all even factor that in to like your criteria when you are evaluating men? Because I kind of feel like a lot of women don't. And I think that's what makes women get tired out here in the dating world. Because who was that last week that was talking about, I'm tired, I'm tired? You know what? You get tired when you don't narrow down your search. It's like looking for a house or something. You know, if you just go out and looking at every house that's on the market, you're going to get tired. You're going to get worn out. You're going to waste your time looking at houses that don't even suit your needs, houses that you can't even afford. So you need to narrow your search. You don't really need to be going out with all these men. That's why when women say they're tired, I really don't know how they're tired, so much tired, because I kind of feel like they're going out with men they shouldn't have gone out with in the first place. A lot of times when I hear women talk about they're tired and then they start, talking about who they went out with, sometimes I be saying to myself, well, I don't even know why you went out with him in the first place. It's almost like you wasted all your energy on a person who wasn't even going in the direction or was on the road you want to go on. So if you tired, because of yourself. You should have never gone there. It's like, it's like a looky-loo. Like in real estate, they call them looky-loos. People coming up to look at houses that they know they can't even afford, or houses that they may not really even want. They're not even really interested in purchasing. It's a waste of time. If you're tired of out here in the dating world, the solution, ladies, isn't to stop, dating. That's not the solution. The solution is to narrow your scope. Narrow your scope. Be more selective over who you go out with. Go out on less dates, but go on dates with men are more in your target rich environment. That's why I was surprised when women said that they didn't like this crop of men, because I felt like even though, every man's not fine, it still had a good, 10 men that at least these men are single. Supposedly they want to be in a relationship. And let me tell you, if you go out to an event, you're lucky if there are 2 men at that event that you like. How many times, ladies, do you go to a whole event and you don't even meet 1 man that you like? So the idea that you could come here on this season of Ready Love and there possibly could be 1 man that you like, that's a win. That is a win. Because oftentimes you could be on online dating and never see 1 man that you even want to go out with. It's all about target rich environments. It's all about narrowing your scope. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And the quality has to do with, for you, the quality isn't always based on his looks. The quality isn't always based on his salary, right? The first criteria, it should be, is that man going into the direction that you want to go, or can you go in the direction that he's going in? Because if you can't, and if he's not, then it's a no-go. What is the point of going out with them? Cut it loose. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy. Spend your time and energy going out with men who are going in the direction you want to go to. And if you want to get married, men who are marriage-minded. Ask the question very, very early on in the dating process. The first date, ask the question. Ask the question, hey, James, where are you in your relationship journey? Are you coming out of a relationship and you need more time to heal, or more time to recoup or regather yourself? Are you a man who's looking to get married, to settle down? And are you the man that, you're at a point in your life that if you did meet the right woman in your life, someone that you fell in love with, someone that you valued and cherished, are you at a place in your life where you're ready to get married? Ask them the question. Don't be afraid, because not knowing the answer to that question is worse than them giving you an answer that you don't like. That's what I'm at to say. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about what I was saying. And I will talk to y'all later. Okay, bye.